Hi, this is the Panic Button. I'm Jessie.
I'm Nina. Today, we're going to react to a clip that the ACLU put out. Libs at TikTok posted on X and said the ACLU just put out this ad of celebrities and athletes, including Megan Rapinoe, promoting that men should be able to play in women's sports. And no one was surprised.
When you're young, you believe that you can do anything. And then the world tries to set limits for you.
Tell you what's allowed,
What's normal?
who you're supposed to be.
But on the field, the track, the court, here, you get to be exactly who you are.
Because at our core, we're still the kids who just want to play. The go big game changers.
The living, breathing fabric of this country.
Supporting trans youth isn't just about sports.
It's about freedom.
On and off the field. It's more than a game. When you're young,
It's going to go.
The only person I knew out of every single one of those people was Ellen Page.
I recognized Megan Rapinoe and Naomi
Who's Megan Rapinoe?
Campbell.
Watts? I don't know.
Naomi Watts. Yeah. She was in that
I just hear names.
Hulu show with Kim Kardashian. That really cringy show.
The All's Fair one?
All's Fair. Yeah.
I never watched it.
So it sounds like in this clip they're trying to tell people, like, we just want to play sports.
No one's telling you shouldn't be allowed to play recreational co-ed sports.
Yeah, you totally do that. You just can't compete with women or girls over a
the
certain
girls
age.
category.
Yeah.
Or in the women's category if you were born with a penis. I'm sorry. That's them's the rules.
It's
just
pretty
like
simple.
I can't, and I've said this before on here, so if you've been here before, you've heard this before, but just like I can't play basketball because I'm 5'1", no women's basketball team would let me on. I can recreationally play. I can play in a co-ed. I can play on a team with people who agree to play with me. But guess what? I am never going to be a basketball star. That's just, I can have such a love for basketball. Love it. So much. Never going to happen.
Well, because not everything is fair. They want everything to be fair for them. They want privilege. They don't want to be like everyone else.
Right.
They want to be the superior ones who get more stuff than everyone else. That's not how it works.
Now, if I was born a man and I sucked at basketball, but I loved basketball, maybe I would transition to be a woman to play basketball. But that would be if I was trying.
Only if you wanted to get
advantage of a category
scholarships. Only if you wanted to get money, trophies.
Only if I wanted to be completely unfair in the game that I love so much.
More advantage in life. But if you really just wanted to play, you'd do a co-ed team if you wanted. Because girls play in that.
You'd find friends that also like to play. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't live in I've lived in small towns, I've lived in big towns. There's always a local basketball court. There's always tennis courts somewhere. You can go find somewhere to play your sport unless you have like a really niche sport, and at that point, then you gotta go find a team anyways. So you know what? Just find people who like the sport. Go on Facebook, go start a group, go find friends, go on Bumble BFF, I don't know. Go find someone who wants to play with you. What are we, talking to children?
Yes, we are. Why do they not just play on JV teams? Why do they want to compete with the girls?
Well, no, the thing is that even on JV, so like if it's...
Sorry, not JV. Yeah, I can't remember the word right now.
Recreational.
Recreational teams. You know, why don't they want to just do that? Why do they have to play in the girls category? Unless it's for affirming their gender, which is selfish, which there is no I in team. If they become a player on the team because they tried out, that's one male on the team that gives them way more advantage over all the other teams. And it's dangerous for other girls on those teams competing against them. But also, he took a spot from a biological girl who rightly deserved it over him, who is a cheater by identifying as a girl just so he could play with girls. He knows he has an advantage. They could say all day they don't have an advantage, but science proves differently.
How does it affirm one's gender to be allowed to play a sport? It doesn't de-affirm my gender that I can't play women's basketball.
Well, because they would be on the women's team. That means that they are a woman.
Okay, but they're giving you every other possible right that you asked for. Now they're just saying you can't play in sports, and now you're going to throw a panic attack?
Because they want more. They want to be treated like a woman, even though they're not a woman. You know what I mean?
I do.
They're a faux woman. They're a trans woman. They're a male-identified woman.
They're a man's idea of what a woman thinks like.
Not male-identified. What do they call it?
They're a man's idea of what they think a woman thinks like.
Yes. Trans-identified male.
Tims.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going with that because I was trying to figure that out.
The Tims.
Yeah. They're not girls. They're not women. We have Title IX.
How does that
so women can
affirm-
have the same rights as men, and that those men include men who think they're women.
How does being allowed to play in professional sports affirm or de-affirm your gender? I can't play in professional sports because I'm not athletic and because I'm short.
It's because it's the girls' women's team.
That doesn't answer the question still, though.
Maybe
How
they
does
want
it
to see
affirm-
chicks naked in the locker room.
But how does at the end? And you probably can't answer this question because you're not trans. But like, I think the answer is it doesn't. It doesn't affirm anything. They're using the excuse that it affirms it. But realistically, it doesn't affirm it more than putting on lipstick in the morning.
They want more, don't you see? They want entitlement.
I know. That's what my point is. I see it.
Yes. They want entitlement. It's just a way for a boy or a guy's ego to be propped up because he's probably a guy who's not popular, who's not attractive, so he already feels insecure. So how do we get some security? Well, we pretend we're a girl, dominate the girls, especially
It's
since
not for security. It's for advantage.
especially since they won't date them. So, well, haha, now I can see you naked in the locker room. You can't do anything about it.
I don't think it's for security. I think it's for advantage. They want an advantage over women in the locker room, on the playing field, in general. Nothing can be left alone. People like Ellen Page, though, they don't seem to understand that. They just think that it's all about feelings.
No, it's not about security. That's not what I was saying. I'm saying that these guys are probably losers, if we're being honest. And this is a way to make them feel better about themselves because they'll definitely be a star on the sports team. They'll be the best player on the team because they're males. And they get to see chicks naked in the locker room. I mean, it's a win-win for creepy dudes, for being completely
It's so
honest.
weird to say it affirms their gender because I don't believe it does.
It's probably just an excuse. If we're being completely honest, I think all of it is an excuse. A lot of these guys are just playing pretend. They're co-opting what it is to actually be a trans person with gender dysphoria and all that. They're just cosplaying. It's easy to fake it because there's no parameters or guidelines. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were allowed to cheat, wouldn't you? If they didn't make any rules for you to follow?
Well, it wouldn't be cheating.
Exactly.
Cheating means you're breaking rules. If there's no rules to follow, you're not cheating.
Right. And legally, that is the case in some states with these fellas. It isn't cheating. They're just following the law. That's why they can go in our locker rooms and our bathrooms and stuff and look totally like dudes, but just say they're women.
And that's why that's why they literally can say the things they've been saying to women
Yeah.
in those filmed locker room videos, that it's not illegal and all this other, that, and the other.
I'm legally allowed to be here.
Because they are
Yada.
technically legally allowed to be there.
Yeah.
Not doing what they're doing most of the time, but they're technically allowed to be there.
Yeah, which makes every woman uncomfortable except for the weird ones. And any woman who says she's not uncomfortable if she sees some strange dude in her bathroom is lying through her teeth.
Or she's got a weird paraphilia.
She might as well. That's also a possibility, especially because the women who say they're comfortable with that come from the left, and we already know that those women are pretty deranged weirdos.
I just feel like any woman who's okay with a man being in her locker room wants a man to watch her undress.
Or something like that. Yeah, something's off there. Because these are the same women who are like, well, men are trying to control us and want to take away our rights, and we hate men, except for the ones who identify as women in our locker rooms and bathrooms.
Then they're like in their women's locker room, like, oh no, this trans woman's watching me undress. Like, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Sorry, it's weird.
Yeah. So this video is trying to create the look. They're trying to create
The facade.
The facade that they're just trying to play sports. They're really innocent. They're not hurting anyone. And science doesn't matter unless it's about the vid and the jab and all that stuff. Then it matters, but not in this, because we just want to play sports. You mean women, you don't want us to play sports. And it's like they intentionally fuck up the wording in order to confuse people who don't know any better.
Or who are just too genuinely open-hearted.
Yeah, but too dumb-minded.
Yes, you can be both.
Yeah, because you're not thinking critically. You're using your emotions to
Other people's
make,
emotions, too. They're
to
manipulating
make
their emotions.
logical decisions, or to have a logical opinion. They're taking away your right to have an opinion.
They force their emotions down your throat to emotionally manipulate you to change your opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So
probably
they'll
own that
make
car.
people confused, and people will be like, well, why can't they play sports? Why is the government making them not play sports? Why can't they play sports? And you have to tell them you just want to, you want to be like, they're lying to you. It's about female sports biological girls and women. It's about them not wanting to compete with someone who's obviously cheating because they were born a dude.
Yeah.
You want to compete with dudes? You want to be the only girl on a team of dudes because all dudes were allowed to identify as girls and compete in women's sports teams, varsity,
Well, we're not going
JV,
to have women's
college,
sports teams
etc.?
anymore. We're just going to have men's and men's teams.
Exactly. That's what it'll be. We'll have cross-dressing men and the regular men competing against each other. And the regular men are going to win every time. Because they're the one that competed with the men, not with the women. So it has nothing to do with them not being able to compete in sports. It has everything to do with women's rights to our own spaces, privacy, locker rooms,
Competition.
even gyms, competitions, sports, scholarships, money, all that stuff. Opportunity. If we let these crazy people get their way, we'd have no women's sports. We'd have trans women's sports and men's sports.
That's what I was saying. Men's sports and men's sports.
Yeah, exactly. How many of these people actually compete in women's sports against men? Okay.
Bye.
How many of these women do you think are competing in sports against men? I'm willing to bet absolutely none of them. So how can we take you seriously if you're not even the one who's doing the thing you want everyone else to do?
Who's dealing with the repercussions of what you're saying you want?
Yeah. So how can we even take you seriously? We can't.
I don't think a lot of people do.
I know. It's so sad. The ACLU used to stand for something. Now it just stands for woke, crazy shit.
Progressive.
Yeah, because the crazy progressive women with the septum piercings, they all invaded this.
Sports.
Is the ACLU. And
Sports.
now they're pushing for the most ridiculous stuff. They're a clown of their former selves. It's really sad, but, crazy people do crazy things. And
want crazy things.
And want crazy things. And it's not surprising that crazy is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just surprising,
It's surprising that we let crazy get this far.
Yeah, like how many people they've actually convinced. By the way, Ellen Page, she looks miserable and old. I don't know what the male hormone...
Testosterone looks exhausting on Ellen Page. Yeah.
I guess it makes them euphoric in a way. Like any woman who would take testosterone would probably be euphoric. It makes you feel...
That doesn't look like euphoria.
Strong. But it only lasts a certain amount of time, according to what I've heard, is it doesn't last forever. And eventually you just look like an
Tired?
old 57, 65-year-old, beat up, tiny lady with a short haircut. If she wore glasses, she would complete the outfit. She just looked like a skinny Hannah Gadsby who hasn't slept in 48 hours.
Yeah, poor Ellen Page, man.
That's who she is. That's who she wants to be. That's fine. Don't push your shit on me.
Yeah, I agree, but also, that's pretty sad to watch.
Sad to watch, but it's like watching an addict.
Yeah, that's why it's sad to watch.
Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think this was cringy as sin? Because I think it was cringy as fuck.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. Ugh.
And it was a lot of people I don't know.
Exactly. I recognized 3 of them.
I recognized one.
No thanks.
So not great marketing.
Nah. I just saw this today. Naomi Watts has a son who thinks he's a she. And so she's got some skin in the game. She's got to make sure that her son is treated like a woman because he thinks he's one. No. I don't think any of us should be forced to pretend along in someone's delusion. I don't think that's healthy for the person who's forced to play along. I think it's very manipulative. If they want to, because they care about the person, that's one thing. But forcing other people and trying to manipulate them or just scream at them and be violent, I just think that's the wrong way to go. Anyway, what do you guys think? Put it in the comments below. Like and subscribe, everyone.
Yeah, do that thing.
Yeah.
That thing we always ask you to do.
Join our
Subscribe, comment, share it because we need it.
Join our memberships to support this channel.
We need you.
We do. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Share with a friend or an enemy.